Lupercalia, worship Lupercalia. Pay for the meal, give her a little kiss. Tell her you love her and it's her you miss. Then smile at the moon and think of Lupercalia. Think of Lupercalia, worship Lupercalia. Wolf Lupercalia.
Hello and happy Valentine's Day, oh sweet, wonderful souls trapped in ham. Thank you for tuning into the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. You just listened to Valentine's Day by the Cranberry Twins from their album Songs of the Black Lady. We have a great podcast for you today, but first, let's do some business.
Oink, 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 it's a teacup pig. Hey everybody, it's me, the teacup pig. And boy, I'm so excited because Duncan said I could do a commercial for his big tour coming up because he thinks it's so important to get on stage and make people laugh because inside he's empty and he really doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing with his life. So that's what he does to try to give some meaning to what he does. But it's fun, so why not go out and see him perform? Though I'm sure there's a lot of other events that are probably going on that night that are going to be much better if you really just can't find anything to do when you happen to live in Columbus and Atlanta or Athens or Richmond or Arlington or Philadelphia or Massachusetts or Brooklyn and you're just sort of bored and maybe there's nothing on TV or your cable went out or maybe your internet went down or you're running from somebody and you need a place to hide for an hour or two. Well, then why not go see Duncan Trussell perform in his spring tour coming up this March. It's going to be the 25th through the 29th. And oh boy, how fun will that be? You can bring your date and just have the best night of your life. Oh, it's going to be so fun. You'll never forget it.
You're a dick.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Highness. Do you not like my free commercial for you? Maybe I should do it again. Hey, everybody, come on out and see Duncan Trussell flailing around on stage.
Okay, that's enough. That's
enough.
enough.
Shit. Come see him perform.
Stop.
Should I do it again?
No. Dear sweet friends, how much do you pay for your hand jobs? How much do you pay for a rim job? How much do you pay for your coffee? How much do you pay for the daily expenses of your everyday life? How much pleasure do you get from a paid-for hand job as compared to this podcast? That's a question you should ask yourself. The podcast is free, and it will remain free forever. But we do live off the support of the listeners. And if you feel like it, you can go to DuncanTrussell.com and you can donate whatever you pay for your hand jobs or for your coffee or for your mints. And it will all go to a lot of different things, including the creation in my new place that I'm moving into of an actual podcast studio. I am thinking of creating a situation where this podcast gets videotaped, or at least some of the episodes do videotaped. What am I, back in the 50s, where the podcast gets digitally recorded and has a live video feed that people can watch. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I know that it's going to start happening in March. So help us make this transition from an audio podcast to a at least sometime video podcast by going to DuncanTrussell.com and donating by sending some green energy. And if you don't want to donate because that feels weird because you think podcasts should be free, I guess I totally understand. You can also go through our Amazon portal if you're ever buying anything from Amazon, and we get a percentage of that. Another way you can support the podcast is by going to Audible trial /family hour and signing up for a trial membership. We get $15 when you do that, and it's a trial membership, so if you don't feel like staying with Audible and getting a free audio book, you can just cancel the membership and be a gypsy and go running off into the forest with your one lonely old audio book. We're also sponsored by Shore Design T-shirts. You can go to shoredesignt-shirts.com, and if you put my name in, you get 10% off those shirts. I know that is the least creative Shore Design T-shirt advertisement I've ever done, but I'm starving and I want to go eat. And before I go eat, I told myself that I was going to upload this awesome podcast with Ari Shaffir, my dear friend. So let's do that now. Everyone, welcome to the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. One of my oldest Los Angeles friends, a super funny comedian who has just released his first special, which you can check out at AriShaffir.com. It's called Passive Aggressive. There's a link on his website. So you could go buy that if you wanted to and watch that for Valentine's Day because it's a download. So everyone, please send out your psychic tendrils to my dear, sweet Valentine's Day lover, my true lover, my soulmate, Ari Shaffir. Ari.
Now, this is right after somebody's like, this introduction is too long.
I know, yeah.
And now we cut to right now, right?
To this.
Okay.
Yeah. This is after it depends. I just did my I don't know when this will come out, but the one I did today, I just didn't feel like doing an opening. So I just did like blah, 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 quick commercials and then jumped right in.
Keep them off guard.
Keep them off guard.
Give them like a 3-minute one.
Those fucking intros, man, they take me a long time. That takes hours and hours to do. I'll end up like working on that thing all day long.
On the intro?
Yeah, and then there are times when I've worked on those intros for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then I go back and listen, and I'm like, oh, too stoned.
Oh, really?
Delete.
I get most of the way through one, or I'll get like 5 minutes in, and I'll be like, yeah, and make sure to check out also... Nah, this sucks. Delete. I don't know why, but I say delete, and then I just delete it.
You record yourself saying
delete
the negation.
To stop myself from being able to use it, maybe.
It's fucking weird, man. It's a strange...
So you think yours out? You have like long thoughts?
I know.
Like Jerry Springer?
I feel mine out. I have to have a feeling. There's a feeling that has to go along with it where I listen. I have to want to listen to it more than once. In other words, like I have to like it enough to be like, yeah, I would listen to that a few times because it makes me laugh. And then if that happens, then it's worth it. If it doesn't happen, then it's like, it's that old classic thing. If it's not going to make you laugh, it's not going to make anybody laugh. Or if it's not interesting to you, why the fuck would you think it's interesting to anybody else?
Yeah, I could see that. When people complain about my intro, not that you worry about the complainers, but they're like, that was fucking 15 minutes. I'm like, it was fucking 3 minutes. 12 of it was me ranting.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Also, the confusing thing about the complainers is you can skip forward.
I even put a handy song in between the two to give you a nice little place
to know
like,
where.
Hear your song.
Skip forward, complainers. You irascible fucks. Why are you guys so... There's just this blistered contingent of humans out there, man.
It's only a few people, I guess.
It is only a few people, but they're the ones that for whatever reason, they're
vocal.
You know how many kids it takes to fuck up a water slide?
One.
With diarrhea.
Ugh.
And it's over. Once you see a kid fucking going down a water slide with a brown trail.
Has that happened ever?
I bet it happens every day at water parks. They say AIDS came from a monkey. I guarantee it came from a fucking water park.
Fat Michigan person from a water park?
Yeah. It just came from this perfect mixture of like diarrhea and piss and like vomit. Can you believe it? When I think back...
Ladies and gentlemen, we're shutting down Slippy World. There's been an outbreak of tuberculosis and polio.
I assure you that if there is going to be a massive die-off, it starts at a water park. Haven't you ever been floating down? Have you ever gone into a lazy river at a water park?
It's been a while.
Remember?
The MGM has one in the back, yeah.
You're sitting in this tube,
yeah,
and you look down next to the tube, and you just see human residue, clumps of hair.
I didn't have that at the MGM.
Fingernails. Just like Band-Aids, bloody Band-Aids floating
just falling
off. Yeah. Think about it. It's for a water park, even though, and also the other side of it is the germs. The water park acts as a filter for germs, so that only the most powerful ones are surviving, because the rest are dying in the chlorine.
Yeah.
But the ones that are left, the ones that are living still, see, that's what's going to cause the fucking apocalypse, dude.
Yeah, the resilient ones.
Yeah. That's what causes the end. And I don't even understand how water parks are allowed to exist.
The idea of it sounds great. Let's all go swimming, and we'll slide down a slide right into the water and swim then.
Yeah. Yeah, but
The waist's dealing with that.
dude, but just the skin. I mean, forget just the basic giardia, the basic like stomach ailments that can come. Let's talk about the fucking skin diseases that are at water parks. Just people walking around on the concrete with like deep athlete's foot.
Dude, I have somebody in my apartment building. Well, you used to live there.
Yes, I did.
So you know the pool there.
Yes.
He's got like eczema. And
Yeah.
you see him in the pool sometimes. You're like, yep, that's another month I won't be in there. Every time I see him, I won't be able to take it.
No. You can't. You can't. This is
It's in water. It's not even in air. It's gross to be near someone like that.
What is eczema?
I don't know. It just makes your skin look blotchy and it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Is it
Doesn't hurt.
contagious?
Maybe. To the eye, it is.
Yeah. Once you get leprosy, you've got leprosy. Once it happens, it's over. Once you get the disease, that's it. Everything changes. Once you get the fucking like VD, it's forever.
It's all gone.
The innocence dies with VD.
Yeah. Hopefully you get a good one.
God damn, man. I'm amazed, Ari. Something that I think about all the time is like the fact that you don't have VD.
Anymore.
You just had like a light case.
It was chlamydia. It was funny last time I was here. I was getting the results. And I already knew from whoever I was hooking up with, it was like that I almost definitely have it. And I got the results. And then, he called me and it was the same doctor you go to.
Yeah.
And when I walk and you were like, tell him I said hi. Tell him I said hi. Hey, tell him I said hi. You annoy somebody until
you're on the phone getting a chlamydia prognosis. Hey, tell him what's up. Tell him what's up.
And then it's joking. And then this doctor's on the phone going, okay, so anyway, it's positive. You're positive for chlamydia. I don't want to deal with his jokes anymore. Like, can you take this seriously? No sex for 10 days. I was like, all right.
That's it, 10 days?
Yeah.
What did it feel like?
It felt like, after you masturbate.
Yeah.
And different people have different symptoms, but after you masturbate or have sex or whatever, and sometimes there's a little bit left in the tube.
Yes. Yeah,
and then you get out, you kind of try to squeeze it out.
Ooh, yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's like that
kind of
all the time.
Stingy a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it got warm a little. And then also I'd pee in two directions all the time.
Bifurcated piss stream.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Bifurcated piss stream.
Bifurcated piss stream where you get those two magical sprays that go just anywhere but the toilet.
Neither one goes straight.
No, it's like they have
equal angles away from each
other. They go to
other.
either side of your toilet. Yeah, I've had that
It's
happen.
like a kaleidoscope.
That happens without chlamydia, though.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. If you jerk off and go to sleep,
yes.
when you wake up,
because
sometimes
it seals your urethra becomes gelled.
It's like putting your finger over the hose.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. So you had a bifurcated piss stream. Yeah, it was uncomfortable, and then you went to the doctor.
Yeah,
because you knew something was wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I didn't know what it was. I was just like, I got some cum up there, and I can't get it out. It's been like a week and a half.
Did you have to when you after you got the prognosis? How many people did you call?
Oh, that was the worst part because the disease itself isn't that bad at all. I was shocked at how it's one of the ones that goes away.
Yes,
I should tell everyone listening, it goes away. It's gone. It's not. But with the amount of people I told, I was real upset. The comics, that their reaction was, "What, for the first time?"
Oh wow!
I was like, "Yeah,
that's crazy."
Yeah.
So
yeah, the calls was really bad.
So let's go. Let's walk through a call. I'll be the girl. You call me up. Let's go from beginning to end.
Okay. Now let's say, where am I in the? How far back am I going? Because I just kept going back.
Let's just go back like 2 months before.
Okay.
I'm in Canada. Hello.
Hey,
Ari. Oh my God, it's so good to hear from you.
This is one of the worst parts. The extra, because that's how they got. They would always get extra happy. Like, whoa, I haven't heard you. I thought that was a one night stand or something.
Nice to hear. It's so nice to hear your voice. What's going on? Are you coming back to Canada?
Not. I got some news. No, not. No, not yet.
I just think about that night so many times. You are so.
Nobody did that.
Okay. Oh, it's so good to hear a comforting voice, Ari. I just got to tell you, I've been feeling so lonely lately, and no one's really been calling. And I just, it's just nice to hear your voice. I've just been by myself for a while. My dad passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's so nice to hear from you. I just think you're so
that really sucks.
wonderful and funny. And I know I don't want to get weird and sentimental, but that night we shared, I just will never forget it. You're just so wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah, I just want to call and say hi. I'll talk to you later. No. Oh no, listen here. I'm sorry, but you gotta go get tested. You might have chlamydia.
What?
First of all, that's what everyone said. It's like going off book, the commentary. That what is what every one of them did.
What did you say?
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm not joking.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking.
Is this some kind of stupid joke?
No, I know it sucks, but they just told me I got tested. So you got to get.
You
tested.
got tested. I have chlamydia. What is chlamydia?
It's not that bad. It goes away. You just have to take antibiotics.
Is this
for a few
what
days.
making? Is this why my asshole has been bleeding?
No. Oh, that's because I tore it up.
Yeah, girl. Did you get anybody say? Did you get anyone who's like, oh yeah, you know what? What's so funny? You're next on my list. I have chlamydia.
No, I did not. I did this thing where I narrow it down to like who I think it might have been, because I started going back in phone calls, and I called one girl who was like, let's say 4 months before, and she goes, no, I just actually got my test results back 2 days ago, and I'm totally fine. And I was like, did you get tested for that too? Yeah.
Wow.
Like, oh, okay, we can rule that out then and go forward. I don't know how far to go back. You go back 2 years? How far do you go back?
I mean, it's just weird that you would, of all your sexual partners that you called.
Yeah.
How many?
That I had to call?
Yeah.
Good 6 or 7.
Jesus.
Yeah.
7.
Something like that. I'm trying to. I wish I knew the exact number now, but yeah.
So you had to call 7 people that you had fucked.
Yeah.
Without a condom.
Yes. Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
Do you and you?
7 tough phone calls. Yeah.
You need to start. There needs to be a commission.
Yeah.
That starts monitoring you like they do.
I started wearing
hookers.
condoms since then.
No, you have to start getting tested like hookers.
Oh, like every day.
You should
couple
have
days.
you and whoever, all these filthy fucking comics out there. I don't know how you do it, man.
It's really just a thrusting forward situation. So easy.
What? I guess it is pretty easy. Dude, I don't know how you do it though, man. This thing of like getting laid on the road.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when I go on the road, I have a girlfriend. But when I don't have a girlfriend,
You're the king of turning it down.
I just feel weird about doing it. It makes me feel
Wait, what way?
because it's like it's not the experience that I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
It's the before and after the experience. It's the awkward, the awkward thing of like, okay, like I know that you're projecting something onto me, so I'm gonna be, this whatever the projection is that you're creating in this moment. You're probably not. You're probably not. Chances are. You're not at the happiest time in your life. You know what I mean? Like you're not like
Who, the girl or me?
Maybe
Or
the
comic?
girl. I know it's not fair to ascribe a moral thing, but like when I think about any time that I had a one, like I don't know, it just seems like there's some turbulence there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's like helps to blow off steam, and it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, but yeah.
But then let's say it's I don't know. It just seems like the fucking part.
Yeah.
My experience with fucking has always been like it takes a few times before it even starts getting like great,
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe this changes after you do.
I feel like there's something to like not really knowing somebody and just going for it in this weird way where it's like it's not like somebody you really care about.
Yeah.
It just becomes like, whoa, this is awesome. I can do anything.
Right.
There's no like feelings involved. I mean, there's a little bit of feelings, but not really. So you can go crazy. They're like spit in my mouth. And I've never had anyone do that. But
That's
if I do,
not that weird.
I'll be like, all right, fuck it. It's hard to do that with someone you really love.
Yeah, to spit in their mouth.
Yeah.
See, I feel totally different.
Slap me in the face. Call me a whore.
I think it's with someone that I love. Oh yeah, you're right. It is hard to be kinky when you're really in deep, but you pass that. But that takes a relationship. Like, to turn into the land of kink when you've been in a relationship, it's usually you've been doing normal fucking for a while, and then you're like, why don't we try? I want to try this fucking thing I saw, and then you try it or whatever, and then that goes on. And then, I don't know, man. But it's the fucking thing's great. It's just kind of like porn.
Sometimes it doesn't work out that well, fucking wise. It's like you don't quite get the chemistry where you need a few times. Sometimes you're in right away.
Right. Maybe it's just a matter of what would you? How many of like having sex with strangers?
Yeah.
What percentage of that is like great sex?
I don't. Yeah, maybe I'd say like 70%.
70%.
Yeah, where it's like that was fun. It was good. Maybe 60%.
So and then when you're done. Yeah. That's the thing to me. That's like
that can be awkward.
That's the problem because I'm assuming. Do you bring them back to your hotel room?
That's almost always where it happens.
So you're back at the hotel room.
Where do you do it? At their place?
I don't. I've done it once.
One time?
Yeah.
Wow. You just haven't been on the road in a while.
No, I just did a tour. I was on the road, and I went on the road with Neil Hamburger. I've done.
Oh, that's nice. Plus, that's a good one, too, because unless they're into the comb-over look, whatever he's rocking.
No, man. He's married.
Yeah.
But I just, the opportunity has arisen.
And you just go, nah.
It feels so, they are drunk. It's like you just feel like, look, I don't want, this is a mistake.
Yeah, I've rarely done it with somebody who's drunk. That's only been like once or twice.
Well, most of maybe it's just a different. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're just attracting different things.
I used to only get girls who would they broke up with somebody and then like 6 months later they haven't had sex with anybody else, and I was like a safe alternative,
right?
A way to break that streak for them,
right?
And that was like I didn't mind being that guy, because I was gonna be gone, but I was also kind of pleasant and nice. I'm not gonna be like, get the fuck out, bitch.
I just gotta loosen up, man. I just have to like. I guess if I'm going to do, I just have to like, I'm too neurotic. It's just like, but like imagine.
I let them stay the night too. It's like, who cares? If they don't want to, they don't have to, but like.
Dude.
It's like a nap.
I don't know, man. Maybe I need to get some testosterone injections, dude, because like when I fucking, there's just this thing where I'm like, well, I'm just thinking about it too much. It's just a thing where like, okay, there's the fucking is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I want to watch Nancy Grace
afterwards.
Yeah.
So then do that. Here's the deal. They want to be with you. They want to be around you too. So if you're like, hey, let's watch some Nancy Grace, they'll be like, oh, okay.
Right.
They're interested in you.
Right.
So like, what's your life like? You're into this? Well, let me see what it's like.
Right.
And you can talk about it with somebody. And you have someone you can share a moment with.
Yeah.
You might never have to talk to them again. Or maybe you'll stay in touch. Or maybe not. Like, who cares? But like right then, you're like, let's just enjoy ourselves.
Right.
I don't know. Like my favorite thing to do is if somebody has a little pot, go back to the hotel room, talk, smoke for a little while.
Yeah.
Then bone. And then, whatever. Call it a day or leave. I don't know, but it's nice. It's a little connection.
The way you're describing it sounds great. In my mind, it turns into this like sex. And then afterwards, there's just this like, oh man, are you going to send me dead rabbit corpses for the rest of my life?
No one's ever done that. I've never even heard of that happening to any comedian. So then this idea that we're all like scared of like, oh, they're going to get so clingy. Who gets clingy? Who's going to send you these things? That doesn't happen to anyone.
It's in its own way. It's a narcissistic thought.
That you're like so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because it's like really the reality is they're just probably like, he's kind of funny. I'm horny.
Yeah.
That's
all it
not
is.
it. I don't think that's it, man. I don't know. I got to get out of my head. That's all.
I mean, if I saw Joan Jett in her prime or even before her prime and the opportunity presented itself where I could bone her.
You're right.
And that's an ugly rock star.
Yeah.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
Being like, cool, I fucked Joan Jett, man.
Yeah.
Some people just want the story.
Yolandi Visser.
Who's that? Some new.
She's the female part of Dee Antwoord.
Oh, really?
Have you seen her?
She hot? Yeah,
she's
man.
like right. I see what you're saying.
I'd bone Lily Allen even if she was chubby.
But isn't this a difference between
boys and girls?
Yes.
Maybe, but honestly, here's why I think one main reason why girls have sex with men.
Why?
To increase their own self-value. So this is why they'll have sex with rich men. Not always. Obviously, sometimes it's because you're in love, or usually, let's say even. But if they just want to fuck somebody, rich men, famous men, because they like it to say, I had sex with LeBron James.
Yeah.
Spies, because it's dangerous, so it makes them feel more dangerous by
Spies?
proxy. Anything danger or interesting,
Dude,
then they get to be interesting
Who
by
do you
association.
know who's fucked a spy?
I wish I could tell you, man, but all that stuff is top secret. It's been classified by the U.S.
Spies.
government. I don't know.
By the way, that's a shitty spy.
Yeah, hey, I'm a spy.
A spy. Let me show you my spy card.
Hi, Ari Shaffir, secret U.S. Air Marshal.
There are a lot of dumb girls who have ended up fucking guys who say they're spies. That's for sure.
This dude in Boston went around saying he was, he said two things. Either he was the goalie for the Boston Bruins or the catcher for the Red Sox. Both athletes that wear masks, so nobody really knows what they look like. And he went around hooking up and just stealing a bunch of people's money, too.
Oh, what a cunt. Do you know about the David Cross thing that happened a long time ago? There was some guy in New York who looked exactly like David Cross, and he was telling girls he was David Cross and, like, fucking girls
Wow.
as David Cross. And, like, David Cross, I can't remember, he, like, posted. He had to post something talking about, I have this tattoo. Like, if you're with me, you'll see that I
Because
have...
people were saying, I hooked up with you?
Yeah,
No,
but
you
it was
didn't.
getting around that he had been, like, because some guy was just rampaging
Unless
through.
you see the fucking hologram stamp on David Cross's shoulder. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a fake. That's a counterfeit.
You have to shine him with a blue light to see that thing.
Do you remember that story with BJ?
No.
Some comedian girl.
Which PJ?
BJ Novak
Okay.
just got this development deal.
Yes.
He just finished Punk'd. He got this development deal to
Yeah.
write and produce and star in The Office.
Okay.
Hadn't started yet, but just got
Yeah.
this deal. And everyone was talking about
What's
it.
his name in The Office, the character's name, for those who don't know who that is right away?
I think it's TJ.
TJ from The Office. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not that, but whatever. Ryan, maybe?
I don't know. He's got dark hair.
Yeah. So this girl heard about it, had sex with BJ Bales, kept talking. He came to realize who she thought he was and just said, oh, fuck it, I ain't gonna tell the truth. She never really asked. She found out later that she just slept with the wrong guy. Still fucked BJ Novak.
Wow. It's just kind of like going
That's a
through.
girl who was trying to fuck BJ Novak.
Right.
She made it happen. She wanted that.
She wanted to fuck BJ Novak.
She wanted it.
She didn't even know what he looked like. She didn't even know what he looked like
Nope.
and she was fucking him just based on a name.
Oh, I fucked the wrong guy? That ain't gonna stop me. Perseverance.
Oh, that's crazy.
She looked at her fucking poster of a cat hanging by a tree saying, hang in there. And she's like, yeah. Associate that to your own life.
Oh, God damn it, man. You know, this is like in the Bhagavad Gita, there's this verse. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like,
Sumranan Shalam.
oh my God, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It goes, it's basically this, it's like, whatever it is that you want to worship,
Yeah.
I will be that thing and I will make your faith strong. So it's like, the idea is like, since everything is kind of an expression of God, every single thing, that everyone has this little mote of importance that they find in the universe, whether it's money or success or cars or a family or Jesus Christ or Allah, but everyone has this different little thing that turns into their pacifier to sort of like negate the feeling of suffering that comes from being a human being. And for some people that's sex. And it's like, it's the thing, you know, like that's it. When they're getting laid or in the process of getting laid, they are in heaven.
Yeah.
Like they're in fucking paradise, man. And I just can't fucking do it, man. It doesn't do that it just doesn't do that for
If
me.
you don't want to, then don't do it. There's this weird thing where everybody feels like you have to, or you have to try to impress other people by who you're boning.
Yes. It's
like,
it's a huge ego thing for people too. I mean, but that's like it's just it's something that I always like wrestle with because I think, well, what's more primitive? Is it more primitive to have one night hookups with girls, have just like crazy, weird sex, and, you know, add a kind of interesting memory to your memory banks? Or is it more primitive to ascribe supernatural metaphysical importance to the act of sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's more primitive? Because it's just the same fucking act. It's like, but on one side you're like, no, I'm connecting with you on a deep level. We're going to be forever. We're going to be
our souls will be entwined,
quantumly entangled forever. So I want to be very careful about who I have sex with. Like in the same way, like that like.
Yeah, I think that's crazy talk.
That's well, but
in
man,
the same way that,
no, I know it seems like crazy talk, but it's like, for example.
Yeah.
It's not so crazy when you look at it from the perspective of herpes. Like when you get herpes, you are eternally entwined
with that person,
with the person that you got herpes. And,
what about when you get a cold? Well, that's not eternal.
Doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
A baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sex is the summoning ritual to bring souls into this dimension. And a condom or birth control is the negation. It's the creating a wall. Like it's like you're just enjoying the ritual of summoning the demon, but you've created some kind of wall to keep the demon from coming in. But it's a much more powerful act than shaking hands, having lunch with someone.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it's a heightened activity that seems like it has some like insane metaphysical implications to it that go far beyond just like wild fucking. That's the kind of superstitious perception I have of sex. I'm not saying it's like it's right. Whereas when I run into people like you and people who are like really sexually open and what I would consider to be like sexually healthy and sexually like innocent kind of, it's just like, no, dumbass. This is like,
well, when you think about it is primitive, but the animal world, it's like they just go fuck. They don't think about it later, and they go their separate ways.
Yes.
You know, it's just like, it's fine.
This is this thing I've been thinking about, a lake.
Yeah.
So you get this lake, right? And when you're a kid, have you ever gone on a rope swing? So, man, I can remember, like, there's a lake at the summer camp I went to, this rope swing.
Yeah, it's great.
You've got shorts on. It's a beautiful fucking day. You just jump on that rope, swing out into the water. You swim around. And it's like everything's primitive and primal. You're outside. It's just this beautiful moment in time where you sort of are just like you're just having fun.
Yeah.
There's that rope swing. Now you take that rope swing and you add to it a shitty dad. Right?
Yeah.
It's the exact same rope swing, but now it's like, be careful on that swing. You get 3 more swings and then we're done. 3 more swings, everybody. We've got to eat. You just ate. You can't go swimming now. You just ate.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting, a dad getting drunk or whatever. Suddenly, now, what was this primitive, primordial paradise has transformed into the fucking goddamn North Korea. It's turned into a militarized zone by someone's trying to put rules into that fucking thing. So in the same way, it's like sex is just this thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. It's a moment. It's this.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? But when your mind turns into
something bigger,
a cunty dad, and it's like, no, here's what it really is, then suddenly the experience becomes malformed or becomes.
That's how I felt for the longest time. It was like sex means love. You kiss a girl, then that means you're in love with her.
Right.
Afterwards, you just have these feelings until you realize, like, it's just on some level, it's just jerking off with someone's mouth. You know, or whatever. That's on some level. That's all it is.
Right.
It's like I want to get rid of this cum in my balls.
Right.
So with you or without you.
Yes. See, this is so what you have an extremely unsentimental view of the experience.
Yeah, probably.
You've negated sentiment from the thing altogether.
Yeah.
And that act of negating sentiment is is either the greatest act a human can do in the aeon that we're living in, because it's shaking off thousands of years of superstition and conditioning and programming. So it's either a great act, or if you are a religious person, it is the most satanic act that you can do. It's a funny thing. And those two perspectives, it's like, if you take it to the extreme, if you take it to the extreme case where describe to me the world if every human had the exact same perspective on sex that you have, what does this world look like?
Pretty similar to what it is now. I don't know. I guess there's less wives that are getting beaten. There's less abandoned children.
Less abandoned children.
Yeah, abortion in my life. Abortion.
So
That's
more
really high. You got to be pro-abortion for me to really be into it.
So okay.
That is something I ask every girl, especially when I was doing without condoms. It was like I was like, how do you feel about children? I want to know.
Yeah.
Because let's not hope I guess right and then ruin my life over this.
Let me tell you something right now. If there was a Tea Party person listening to you, Jewish Ari Shaffir, talking about your love of jerking off in mouths with no sentiment combined with a world where there are less abandoned children because we've killed them before they come out of the pussy.
They're like, this is evil.
People's hair are turning white right now. This is like the podcast equivalent of Black Sabbath listening to you talk about this thing. But there's this notion of the fallen state, and is that
well, I heard on Air Talk today they were talking about there's a couple new companies that help people find someone to have a kid with no romantic entanglements.
Wow.
So it's just like you're looking to have a kid, so is that girl, or so is that guy, or so is whatever, and you figure out how to do it through that. You meet people.
So wait, they raise the kid together?
Yeah, they'll raise together, figure out a way. You'll talk about it ahead of time before you even get how much do you want this kid, what's your job,
right?
Are you on the road? Okay, so you're on the road once a month, so during that time, I'll take it. How much can you know? Let me know ahead of time. It's just we want to do this. It's like being a roommate.
Yeah.
But somebody called in and said this is really bad because it's really promoting this idea of where you take love out of the relationship and building this meaningful, lasting relationship. You've taken that out of parenthood and how terrible that is. But then I was thinking, like, why is that terrible? When 56% of marriages end in divorce, it's probably going to be taken out of it anyway.
Right.
You're probably not going to get raised by two people who love each other.
And also, these two people really want to have a kid.
Yeah, they really want to have a kid. They've worked it out.
They have the means.
Yeah, they're probably like, how much do you make? How much do I make? Can we afford this? Instead of just letting it happen randomly. It sounds like a way better plan.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, these two people who want to have a kid, are they a little addled?
What's addled mean?
Like a little like crazy or something.
Fucked. It seems like that, but I think that's just society telling them they are because you're supposed to want this husband-wife relationship.
I go through stages, man. Like, and before I got cancer, I was like veering on this place of like, man, having a kid would be good. Ugh. And then the cancer came, and then somewhere through it, all of a sudden, I'm like, God, I'm so tired of being sick. And then like the sickness went away, and then something happened where I'm like, I love my life so much, and I love existence, and I'm so happy. And then like that, the kid thing just like got irradiated where it's like, I don't want a fucking kid. I feel so happy right now. And then I read this thing on Reddit today that really gave me the creeps. And it was like, the thing on Reddit said, it was a post where a parent's like, so many people think that they're going to be the best parent and that they're going to read to their kid every night and be this great example for this kid.
Yeah.
But until you experience how would you know? The fatigue that comes from having a child, what it's like to like go to work, and it said you convince yourself that the kids are really being educated at school, so when you come home you don't really have to spend time educating them.
It's a lot of work.
Because it's a lot of work.
You walk your dog enough.
You just want the precious moments of downtime and alone time. Now,
the moment where he puts his head on your shoulder and go, this is what makes it all worth it. You're only thinking of those things.
Yes.
You're never thinking of colic.
You're thinking about the kids screaming all the time and that feeling of like liberty being taken away from you. But you know what? It's just for some people though, it really is like the most. It's not sour grapes when a person with a kid says this is the most beautiful thing in my life. That's real.
Yeah,
they're not faking
it. I think it's weird, and you'll never know unless you're there. But I think it's this weird brainwashing where like this is the only thing that's important for you anymore. Like I love the leader. What am I quoting right now? The Simpsons, I guess. But like once you get into a cult or anything, when your whole body goes over just to serving the Lord, whatever, and you feel happy about that.
Yes,
because that's your fulfillment.
Yes,
but you're actually way less happy in the childbearing situation
than if you're in a cult.
No, than if you don't have a child.
Well, we don't know.
Well, science has proven that people are less happy. Multiple studies have shown that people are less happy with children.
Oh, really?
And it's also shown Because I know everyone listening at home that has a kid, or 90% of them, are going to be going, no, that's just them. That's not me. Studies have also shown that parents will lie about the reasons they like their children.
Because you feel guilty.
Whatever it is, you have to justify it. Because in the old days, they used to say it was because you need someone to carry on the farm. And then when that went away as a reason, people started saying, well, it helps my name carry on. You just think of anything to be able to say, yes, there's a reason I did this.
So the world of Ari.
That's just science. That's just what science is showing.
Here's the world where everyone's like Ari Shaffir. The world where everyone's like Ari Shaffir, it's an extinct world.
I ain't going to be around.
It's fucking Mars.
Maybe.
So here's what we've got.
Yeah.
Lots of great sex.
Yeah.
People are fucking all the time.
Yeah, and nobody's a garbage man.
The abortion business is booming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the richest man in the world is an abortion doctor.
Everywhere. We've got drive-through abortion clinics. You get like...
Was that 1984 or Brave New World when they put on the goggles and had virtual sex?
They took the pills to make them feel like sex. That was Brave New World.
Brave New World. Yeah, I like that version.
So in your world, people are just fucking
When they feel like it.
They're honest. Abortion business is booming.
You know what you miss in this world?
What?
You miss that moment where you do finish sex and now you're with some really annoying person. And the only reason you're with them is because you wanted to fuck them. And now you're like, how do I get them out of here? Instead, you replace that with only times you can fuck with somebody who's cool afterwards. Because why would you stoop to have sex with someone annoying when most people are just down for it?
So this is in this world.
Yeah, what else happens in the world?
I don't know. That's as far as I've gotten. Like it seems like the population has the extent that the population has dropped is at the level of like a mass extinction.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So now we're dealing with like a
parking spots.
Well, not for us, but for the few people who decided to have kids.
Yeah,
the world for them would be paradise.
Oh, yeah. It would be paradise for us, too.
Because for us, it would be, I mean, we're still having to work. There's still overpopulation.
There's plenty of kids there's plenty of 1-year-olds. We'll die out and there'll still be people that are.
There's still babies everywhere, but it's like, yeah, it just seems like I'm not saying it's a bad world. It's an interesting world. It's just fun to think about, like, I've just been revisiting existentialism again. I've been
really
reading Camus a lot and, like, really loving it. But, like, it's a very fun thing.
My mother died today, or was it yesterday? I can't be sure.
Is that Camus?
Who wrote The Stranger?
That's Camus.
That's the opening line.
Oh, wow. Look at you. You're such a little fucking existentialist. Yeah, the first line of Camus, goddamn, memorized.
Favorite first line of any novel.
So great. But, like, so, you know, one existential exercise is just to apply all your actions, try to boil them down to mainly what you do, and then imagine a world where everyone shared your ethic. And then it's fun to think about, what does that world look like? Is this a successful world? Is this a failed world?
It changes when everyone does it, though.
Well, it's a thought experiment because, I mean, clearly what you see right away is that you would not want that world because it's so homogenous and boring. What makes the world interesting is
the differences. Yeah, that is. When people say, like, why don't you vote? What if everyone said the same things you say?
Yeah.
I'm like, but my not voting will not make everyone say that.
Yeah, it's true. It's more along the lines of, like, when you do a thing, you're making it permissible for all people to do that thing.
Right.
Whatever the thing is you're saying.
When I have a commercial audition at 10:15, and I'm usually sleeping late, I'll usually be like, I'll show up at 1. I know the reasons they have call times for everybody so they can space it out, but I'll get there when I'm going to sleep and actually do a good audition, not go that tired. But if everyone did that, it'd be horrible. You'd have a 3-hour wait every time.
Yeah, but that's right. Right. So that Camus is more like, look, he's not really saying anything about an ethics system more than just you can't. He's saying more like you can, but it's better to not delude yourself using illusion. It's better to not try to feed. He says some beautiful line like, it's better to not feed or to not, like, live off the fragrance of the flowers of illusion. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's
I wish I could write lines like that.
Jesus Christ.
It's just like, don't do that. Instead he writes that.
Oh, dude, when you the myth of Sisyphus, you got to read it. But you go through these, like, it takes time to read it. It's like an equation that you're sort of boiling down, and somewhere through it before he gets to his point, you start feeling so dismal because he's like, before he gets into the hope part, he's like doing a surgery. He's like cutting you open, taking out like, okay, well, this chunk is false. This chunk is false. This chunk is false. And as he's like ripping out all these things and like showing you the different ways that different people have tried to solve the problem, because we're dealing with this, like, kind of talked about this in the last podcast, but I still want to talk about it for a while because I'm into it right now. But here's the basic idea. The basic idea is the idea of absurdity, which is that you come to a realization that your life is ultimately meaningless.
Yeah.
That you are not going to have completion. There's not going to be a moment where you really solve a thing.
Yeah.
You're not going to get like the thing doesn't
You're not
finish.
gonna win.
The movie doesn't end.
Yeah.
The projector's going to break at some
Just
point.
a blip. You'll be gone. Everyone will forget you within 60 years.
Yes. Now this, intellectually you can think this and you could still ignore it. But his invitation is, no. Don't ignore it. Let that feeling that comes rising up inside of you, when you really, I got the feeling for the first time when I got a fucking cancer diagnosis. It was like, I was sitting there and that feeling, that swooning vertigo was like, oh, fuck. Where he's like, we're going to have to do CT scans on you to make sure that this hasn't spread into your brain.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like looking at this guy and I'm like, oh, shit. This is it. This could be it. This is really could be it. Not bullshit could be it. This is really could be it. And so then that created this like this fucking immense vertigo and this sense, this rushing sense of like,
You start getting cold sweats.
I didn't get cold sweats, but my hearing went away for a second and like everything went kind of numb. My body felt like I wasn't in it anymore. And it was like, I was trying to use every single possible thought I could to escape from the moment. It was like I was trying to, all my tricks to get out of like a moment weren't working at all.
Still like cancer's
I
still
was
there.
condemned is
Yeah.
what it is. It's this is Camus loves writing about the condemned man, the man who has been sentenced to death. You're not getting out of this. You're going to die. Enjoy the feeling. And then that feeling is the feeling of absurdity. And that feeling is, he is saying, understand that, feel it, and then don't escape from it. Don't come up with a trick to escape. And he goes through all the different ways people escape. God being one of the primary ways that people escape. And then there's a lot of other ways. Phenomenology tries to ease that feeling by phenomenology is the idea that like, okay, there's no broad meaning. There's no real meaning in the world. But one thing we do know is everything, every unit, this mic stand, this recording device, this table, your pants, every little thing has its own essential energy. It's real, it exists. And in that thing, it's meaning in a little tiny little unit. Now, the totality of all those things forms some great meaning that we can never understand. That's phenomenology. And Camus is like, no, even that is like, even though it's close to absurdity, it's still escaping, it's still trying to escape, because even
saying you have meaning, you have importance.
Yeah, it's just like you still aren't going to get the sense of completion, because these little units you're never going to form together anyway. So regardless of whether the water bottle has some significance as some unit of infinity that is real, it still doesn't matter. You're not going to solve it. You're still separated from the universe. You're never going to have a feeling of unity with the universe. And when you die, you go into complete and absolute oblivion, and you're gone forever. So again, you're stuck back in that goddamn fucking predicament of like, oh, there's no way out. There's no way out. This is the absurd predicament. It's like the existential ripping back all the illusion until you come to that place of like, no way out, cornered. Now you found truth. Now you're living in truth. You're existing in truth.
I'm just some guy in jail, and later they're going to take that guy to get hung.
Yeah. Well, if that's your predicament, that's your predicament.
Yeah.
And what's beautiful, where the whole thing swirls around from being just like, oh, everything sucks and we're all swirling into this vortex into doom.
Yeah.
Camus is like, no. Here's the beauty of the fucking thing. Once you understand that truth, your life is on a platform of real truth, opposed to like all the other people who are operating in illusion and have nerfed their brains and are existing in a kind of numbed, stupefied state. Bam, you're existing in truth. And now, through that, through this moment, you actually are deciding to stay alive. You've made the decision to not kill yourself because you're doing something that you love doing. And so that's the idea. Now you just apply yourself to whatever the thing is that you love doing.
I feel it's like if we're just going to go, then have fun. Make yourself feel good. Eat a lot.
Have fun with your feet on the fucking on the truth of your life, so that you're actually sort of what you're portraying is what existence really is. You're an actual authentic expression of life instead of a kid who's like, I just heard about this fucking this lady disappeared. I was listening to some sad NPR story. Lady died in Africa, and they're like, and the children still think mommy's alive.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And they still ask where mommy is, but we haven't told them yet because we don't know how to tell them. So that child going around not knowing that mommy's dead. This is the state of most fundamentalists going around who don't know that God is dead. You know what I mean? They can't accept the fact that God died in a car accident. Yeah. He's not coming back. It's over, bud. It's not. And so instead of being able to
and all the villagers are just too uncomfortable to tell you.
Yeah, well, they've told you, but it's more like they've told you your mom's dead, but you're like, I don't believe you. Mommy's still around.
Yeah.
It's and so that creates a state where you're going to instead of getting that initial agony and then growing from it and becoming a real person, you're numbed down. So that's Camus, and that's the thing I've been thinking about a lot. But
I had that same feeling after mushrooms and depression with those two combination of those things. Got the oh, I'm completely meaningless. I do not matter. None of us matter.
Yeah.
We're not unique.
Yeah.
Been a bunch of people just like me all over the world a bunch of times.
Yep. This is that, there's
not special.
There's philosophies based on this. You can read the book of Ecclesiastes too. It's everything's already been done. Dust in the wind. All of this stuff sounds initially dismal if you are someone who has been living off of the fragrance of illusion your entire life, because anything that disrupts that illusion initially sounds horrifying. This is the same symptom of people who are like, I'm not going to the doctor. I don't want to get the checkup. I just don't want to know.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather die
than find out that I'm going to die.
Or even I'd rather die than have the opportunity to fight
to fix it.
Fix it. So it's that same thing, or it's people who are afraid of getting a shot, or people who are I
haven't gone to the dentist in 10 years.
That.
Because I know what he's going to tell me.
Your teeth are beautiful.
And he's not going to tell me that. He's going to be they're all hollow. They've all been eaten out from the inside by fucking teeth mites.
Yeah, your teeth are fine. I'm sure they're fine, man. But this is the fucking, this is the goddamn thing that disease gives you, and this is the thing that tragedy and catastrophe gives you, is when you finally get it, and then you're at the other side of it.
Yeah.
Then you're oh, that was the greatest fucking thing that ever happened to me in my whole life, because it was the most real thing, the most truthful thing that ever happened to me. And then you're able to really approach life from an honest place. And then if there is a God, which I certainly think there is, that's where you access that energy. I think the universe.
So God is like a port you get to replug yourself in at the end.
Yeah.
You run out of battery.
There's a beautiful verse in I don't remember which goddamn.
Some religious book,
but it's I am this God talking, saying, I am not the fire. I am not the cyclone. I am the calm after the storm. You know what I mean? It's that thing where the worst fucking thing happens to you in your life, and then the girl breaks up with you.
Yeah.
You find out the girl was cheating on you. You get cancer. You get an audit. Your house gets taken away by a tornado, and you're broke again. Maybe you're just dead broke. And that fucking thing happens where you're sitting there, and you know exactly where you stand. And it feels good. All of a sudden, there's that weird moment of I feel better than I felt in fucking years. I'm sitting in the wasteland of my life looking at all these ruins, and it's like my vitality, my strength is coming back to me.
Why?
I'm suddenly becoming because you're in truth.
Right.
You've been like floating around.
You can't lie to yourself anymore. Like, this is what it is.
Yes. This is what it fucking
I'm a
is.
homeless man. I'm outside.
But you can't argue with that spark that comes springing into you. You know, it's like when you're dead broke. You're dead broke. You're living off. I mean, this is like.
But you still want to live?
You're living off Korean fucking groceries. You're dead fucking broke, and you go outside, and you all of a sudden you're noticing fucking flowers.
Right.
This is like there's a Bukowski poem about this, where it's like all of a sudden it's like so many cracks have broken into the illusion of your life, that this weird light starts coming out of it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I feel like when I was those moments when I was a kid and hadn't.
You don't have any consequences when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get there by bullshitting yourself.
No. Yeah, you can't. I don't know we seem like we're going to a point, but I don't remember where it is.
There you go. The essence of goddamn existentialism right there. That's a great way to cap it. Now, before we keep talking, I'm sorry for the existentialist rant, you guys. Get used to it.
It's hard with existentialism because you're like, nothing has meaning, sort of.
Well,
so it's tough to like talk about things.
It's different. Depending on who they are, some of them don't. There's a difference. There's two different types of existentialists. Camus actually said he was an existentialist. There's two different types of existentialists. One has a solution.
Oh.
And one doesn't. So Kierkegaard, for example, said that to deal with the absurd state, the state of absolute boredom, the state of original sin, the state of horror that comes from being a human being surrounded by the swirling vortex, the answer is through religion, through God, through Christianity. He was a Christian existentialist. And the fact that Christianity and religion is so obviously bullshit, the solution is to sacrifice your intellect. So you
just say, fuck it, suck it up and just do it.
Sacrifice your intellect.
This isn't real. Shut up, just do it.
Yeah. So that's a crazy idea. Yeah, that's a crazy solution to it, and that's a solution Camus.
Yeah, wasn't there a split between the existentialists of God believers and non-believers?
Yes. Camus says that absurdity is original sin without God.
Absurdity is original sin without God.
With no hope for redemption. It's living as a pig with no hope for redemption.
Yeah. That's just absurd.
Now, fuck all that existential crap. I want to talk to you about something.
Okay. Do you have the ability to pause this?
Yes.
Okay. Or you can just talk about your sponsor for.
No, it's not a sponsor. I want to talk to you about this controversy.
No, I'm saying throw a sponsor into the middle.
Okay,
if you
yeah.
want,
Here's
we're
going to do a quick commercial, guys. We're back. So, Ari, this is
I was talking to the mic stand for a second.
On my message board, this controversy, like someone posted, they were upset because on the last Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and I haven't listened to it yet, but apparently you got in a fight with Rogan and Red Band about your stance on the TSA.
Yeah, I guess so. Not really. Fight makes it seem like fuck you, no, right. Fuck you.
But it was like the way people described it on the message board.
It was one of the stupidest, lamest, most moronic conversations I've ever been a part of on both sides. We were both just spitting out all the stuff that I like about my conversations with the people I'm friends with, including Rogan, including you. It was all the opposite. It was all just like, let's just talk for the sake of talking and not have a real reason to say anything.
What was your point?
My point is they're fucking pretty much. They're horrible people.
The TSA.
At their root, it's like an illegal organization that just searches everyone for no real reason. And you're like, well, they catch terrorists. They haven't caught a single terrorist ever. They've only let one go.
The shoe bomber.
Yeah. They've only missed. They're 0 for 1 in 10 years.
But the story of the shoe bomber is
Didn't he come from overseas?
But isn't it more of like a prophylactic thing where it's like it's not as though like you're going to catch a terrorist, it's that a terrorist is not going to even try because they know that security's so tight there's no way to fucking get through.
Yeah, but we don't want that level of security. First of all, they're just embezzlers at the top. I don't want to get into specific details.
I understand that. Here's like the first.
It's a bureaucracy.
Yeah, I'll
say what Ron Paul said, that it's time to let the airlines take care of this. because then you'll have customer service related issues.
Yes.
And he said bureaucracies have never worked as well as corporations.
Right.
And then if the customer service at Southwest TSA is shitty, people are less likely to take Southwest.
This is something I was thinking about. And by the way, man, I don't care for the TSA at all. I don't know anyone
dumb
who does.
Morons. And they're not allowed to search us.
But you know what I like? Here's what
legally. What?
I like. There's a meditation you could do at the TSA when you go through, especially if you get stoned before you go to the airport.
Yeah, usually.
Go to the fucking TSA and look around, because what you will see is the majority of people in the face of authoritarianism shut down.
They just look down.
It's nuts. So everyone closes down. Everyone's shut off. Everyone's numbed down and numbed out. They're just...
It's a small level of police state.
You know when you
I don't have control. Those guys can do anything they want to me.
You know when you pick a puppy up by the scruff of its neck and it just loosens up?
It just stops, yeah.
It just stops. It's like you've pressed a button, you've turned it off. That's what people do when they're going through the TSA. They just are shut down. They're like, the TSA problem could be solved theoretically in 2 days. Everyone opt out. Everyone opts out of those scanners. Everyone's like, sorry, you got to search me, you got to search me, you got to search me. Creating such a glut that the airlines can no longer function because every single person is having to get delicately strip searched by the pigs.
Yeah.
This would shut it down. But it would shut it down in 2 days. But that's never going to happen. But the other thing I was thinking is, if there were two airlines, different airport. One airport is like, yeah, it's 80s style security. You're going to come through, you throw your keys in a bucket.
Bomb-sniffing dog.
Go through a metal detector, maybe a bomb-sniffing dog or two. But it's just, we don't really, like, it's just not, we don't think. Maybe on the airplane, it's like the difference is on their airplanes, there's like 3 air marshals that trained with guns, ready to blow anyone's head off that does anything weird. So let's look at that version of the airline.
Yeah.
Peaceful, non-security airline, security airline. Difference is security airline, $100 extra for the extra security. In other words, they advertise it as like, you want to fly on fucking Danger Air, go ahead. Over here for $100, you're guaranteed to not get fucking blown up.
Yeah.
My theory is the dangerous airline would have less customers
because it's $100 more.
Well, no. I'm saying the one where there's
the dangerous airlines. Yeah.
The no security airline
would have fewer customers.
Would almost not be able to function because everyone would be like, I just want the security.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Probably. $100. Maybe let's say it's like $7 or $8.
Sure, but I think people
like security.
They want to,
especially after 9/11. We're like, we got to be secure. We can't. Let's continue, even though it has never really happened beforehand.
Yeah,
I mean, not for decades, and then it happened, and no one's made an attempt since. Maybe once.
Well, no, it's conspiracy theorists say this is the beginning of.
They're never going to go away. I don't think.
They say it's going to get worse. I mean, it's like they're going
to have TSA checkpoints at roads, at malls, at train stations.
Yeah, it has a very similar growth pattern. Authoritarianism and cancer are very similar. They both have a very similar pattern. If you don't deal with it when it springs up right away, it's going to spread.
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
and here's the problem now. There's the TSA is 65,000 people strong. That's an army. They have an army of untrained people with no repercussions. Unless they get caught on camera stealing, there are no repercussions for them because they make the rules. They search people however they want. They never find anything. They broke another fucking Stradivarius or some priceless violin of some guy shoving it back into the case. Did you see the video with that girl who didn't want to put her breast milk through the x-ray?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I did some research on what happened to those officers afterwards.
Nothing.
Remedial training. They had to get paid to do training instead of sitting there.
Okay, here's
not even a reprimand.
So, you go on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And do you as articulately express this on the podcast?
No, I do not articulately express it at all.
What did you say? You said something scintillating.
It's just backtrack. It's just like I was just on my toes, by my heels the whole time, just backtracking and try to like.
Because they were like, what were they saying?
It was in an attacky way. I wasn't ready for it. That's all.
What was the attack?
It was like, what you're doing is wrong. I like to fuck with TSA people. I like to really make life hard for them.
So what do you do to them?
I say I have a medical condition. I can't take my shoes off. It's not really about taking my
You're
shoes
going to
off.
get on the no-fly list.
I know, but here's the problem. Here's the main problem with that. They are holding this no-fly list over your head to say, if you fuck with us, if you talk badly about us, they're not going to let you fly anymore. You have to fear that. How is them instilling fear in all of us that much different than terrorism? It's just fearism. That's a lot closer.
It's
right along those lines.
Let me tell you something, dude. I think if
you talk out against the government, the media will shut you down.
Man, if everybody had
Russia.
everybody had your attitude back in the fucking World War II, there might not have been a Holocaust, dude.
Everyone wants to look the other way, and they're afraid. Oh, they're gonna turn on me. Yeah, maybe. I guess. I don't know, but
listen?
Can't live our lives in fear. I'm not doing anything.
You're an activist. When you're doing this as a form of activism, when you go through there, you're making it hard for them. You're doing activism at the airport. Do you know of any organizations? Is anyone organized to the point of fighting the TSA? Have you taken it to that level yet? How do people?
I don't know, but I know this because part of me thinks like, well, are you going to affect change? And I think almost definitely not. I look at someone like Ron Paul, who was a congressman, senator, whatever the fuck he was.
Yeah.
He was up high in our government, and he wanted to disband the TSA.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it.
Right.
So what is some comic going to do? So then at some point you're like, why even take the risk? Just shut up and live your life. You're not gonna depose the king. So why even talk out against him?
That's the beginning of fucking death.
Yeah, man.
You can't. That's result. This is result-oriented thinking. When you get into result-oriented thinking, like, oh, yeah, of course, Ari, you're not going to fucking take down the TSA as far as we know. But that's not the reason that you don't stand up to power.
Right.
You know, you don't stand up to power because you think you're going to fucking beat power. You stand up to power because
it's just wrong. That's what you're supposed to do.
It's a demonstration of your free spirit and your free will.
I saw them one day. I was stoned and I went through the security and I looked back and I saw every single person raising their hands up like they're getting processed through a checkpoint.
They are.
Yeah. And it's like, what are we all doing? I sort of saw it for what it was.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like, oh, this person's checking for safety. It's just like, look at what they're all doing. They're lined up. Just getting checked and none of these people are terrorists. I mean, none of them. So everyone's just getting searched. They look through your shit. I had a bunch of pills once in my pocket, and they were like, I went through one of those scanners.
Yeah.
And they were like, take out the pills. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And they were like, no, take it. We have to. I'm like, no, I'm not taking out loose pills in my pocket. And like, what are they? I'm like, they're fucking private shit. Who cares? I'm not taking out pills. What, do you touch it with your glove? Ew. They're pills. It's not a bomb. It's fucking pills. You see how small it is?
What'd they say?
They didn't make me take it out.
No
shit. I had to fight for it.
Yeah, right. This is the kind of thing, like, I've heard about this with police.
I think they might have had to pat me down.
So you don't have to take pills out of your pocket when they ask you to?
You shouldn't have to. A lot of times they just like, do it. But Brett Weinbach went through security. He's a super germaphobe.
Yeah.
And he saw those little plastic bags they give you to put your stuff into, your toothpaste and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, I'm taking these 2 of these bags and I'm going to put these on my feet so I don't have to step on the ground. He smells chairs before he sits in them.
Wow.
He's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Not for like convenience or fun.
Yeah.
So he gets to the front of the line and the TSA guys goes, are you using my plastic bags as shoes right now? And Brent's like, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, whatever. And he goes, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to take my plastic bags and use them as shoes. Absolutely not. And he's like, why? He didn't say that's a rule. That's not said. And he goes, no, put them back, take them off, go out, take it again. And he's like, why? Why can't I wear these plastic shoes on my feet? And the guy goes, look at that girl. She's walking around barefoot going through it. She doesn't have a problem. And Brent goes, yeah, she's the reason I'm putting bags on my feet. That's disgusting. She's got her fucking bare feet all over that ground. You want me to walk on it?
Yeah.
That's gross. But that guy is trying to make Brent do something. That guy, with the backing of the U.S. government, is telling him, I want you to do this thing.
Right.
So that's the government telling you to do this thing, which they're not allowed to do. You're allowed to walk around with fucking plastic shoes on if you want.
Yeah.
That's not their right.
Right.
And you can say, well, just take it off. What's the big deal? It's not that act is so hard that you can't not do it, that you have to walk with fucking plastic shoes on. It's just, it's not up to you.
Right.
And you're like, oh, well, if you have nothing to hide, who cares if they search you? That's not the deal we made with the government over the last few hundred years. That's not the deal we have.
Right.
It's not about if you've got nothing to hide, don't.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They have the power now. And it's 65,000 people. If they got rid of it, they would only maybe 20,000 of them would be rehired by private security firms. So you're talking about 45,000 extra people on the unemployment lines, and it's just a mailing situation. But they won't allow it. It'll affect the unemployment rates.
What's the solution?
Disband. Let the airlines take care of it themselves.
No, I mean for the individual.
Oh, the solution is take it or refuse to take it. So I refuse to take it. And then some people say, like, well, it's not the people working there. It's not their fault the whole thing is fucked up. Because, you know those scanner things?
Yeah.
The ones they had and then got rid of?
Yeah.
I found out later that those scanner things, we never needed those. Everything else, take off your shoes, was preceded by some terrorist threat.
Yeah.
Those scanner things came out of nowhere. And the reason they came was because the head of the TSA owned the scanner company. And he said, we got to buy these. So he could just make a shitload of money. That's what would happen. That's what would happen if I was in charge too. I'd be like, well, let's use my stuff. Let's just make money. That's what happens when normal people in a bureaucracy run it. But then people say it's not the people who work there. It's not their fault. It's like, no, they're working at a place that every act they do is illegal. They're searching people. There's no illegal searches. That's the main thing of our Constitution.
No illegal search and seizures.
Yeah, they're searching everybody with no reason. I never threatened a plane. You've never threatened a plane. No one almost who's gone through his lines has ever any threat to the plane, and we're still being searched. So why? Where's it going to stop? Why won't they just say, yeah, well, we're going to put soldiers in your house once a month to make sure? Why won't it go back to that? Why would they ever give up power? There's no reason for them to. They have this thing now. We accepted it. In a time of great fucking passion after 9/11, we accepted it. We need security. So fine, search us a little bit. It's okay. It's worth the wait. It's worth it. Morons going through our stuff who are deciding on their own, untrained people deciding what we should do, and have the backing of the U.S. government. We're willing to accept that. And then suddenly like, oh, fuck. We were just emotional right then. We don't really want that. So these people that are working for them, fuck them too. They're working for an illegal corporation harassing Americans. So eat shit. There's another way to get a job than having to bother everybody. Anyway, that's my feelings about it.
Wow. Listen, you make it's a terrifying.
And some people say, like, well, they've always been nice to me. It's like, that doesn't excuse what they've done. I guarantee you, and I hate taking it to this example, but I guarantee you there were some people that worked at Auschwitz who were pleasant to people that were in there.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that that lady that with the breast milk, these people, she had complained once before. She said the X-rays they didn't have to put breast milk through the X-ray. That's the TSA rules. So they complained once before, so they were waiting for her this time. And they said, we're going to fuck with her. And they kept her for an hour just standing in a little holding area, and everybody walked by. And all those people that walked by, like, oh, TSA's really nice now. It's like they're actively harassing somebody. The people that steal from you, they've helped you before. They've been nice to you before.
Right.
Those same people that steal $800,000 worth of stuff over years, and all the people who look the other way when their colleagues are stealing shit.
Right.
Those are the people that work there. Who cares if they're nice? They shouldn't be there.
What do you think that they're... What I'm asking you, if you've thought it out past being an asshole in the TSA to like what's something that people could do to diminish the power of the TSA? Have you looked into seeing if there's any if anyone's organized to?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they have, but I don't know if I don't. Yeah,
because you go on so many fucking podcasts and you articulate this so well that if there was there's gotta be an organization that's trying to thwart the TSA, or at least
Anonymous tries.
Yeah, but
not
that's
a real organization.
Well, no, I mean they're very powerful, but there's got to be a more mainstream. Isn't there a more mainstream?
I think people sort of there should be.
There's,
I think
there's activism, which is what you're doing.
I guess it's just I don't want to stand for this crap.
That's activism. You're an activist now. You've become an activist. There's no way around it. You have a political view that's kind of libertarian constitutionalist.
If it's as bad as I think, they will put me on a no-fly zone. If it's that bad, where they say, fuck it, I don't care if he's not a threat, we're still going to fuck with him.
Yeah, I don't think
we're going to get him back for talking out about us.
I don't think they would do that because you would get out there so much that it wouldn't work. But I think that you need to look into
other ways to
bigger versions of you. and plug in with them because it's like
Twitter's a really good
shit does change.
medium for this. What people like tell me about a lot of things. Have you seen this video? Did you know about this? You know about? They just suggest those things. And you're like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Also, I just read that a guy who this was on InfoWars. A guy went through the TSA, had a jar of peanut butter. Went through. Have you heard about this one? Went through the TSA. There was liquid at the top of the peanut butter.
Separates. Organic peanut butter separates.
Separates. They're like, what is this? He's like, oh yeah. What did he say? He's like, it's an
No, he didn't even say it to them. He said it's oil separating from the peanut residue or whatever. And then they kept looking at it. They couldn't figure it out. So he turned to his family and he goes, I guess they found the explosives.
And then what did they do to him?
They arrested him.
And they arrest this man, and now he's suing the TSA.
He won't win.
For $5. No. That doesn't matter. That's in the same way that he might not win. It's if everyone started suing the TSA for millions of dollars and they started to accrue huge legal costs.
Yeah.
For that kind of thing,
that could help.
You need an organization behind it. Like, you know how that, for example.
I want to know where the ACLU is.
I
don't know about our rights that much, but I know about some obvious ones. And this seems like it goes against the obvious ones.
Well, this is the thing, man. Here's what it is. It's the old classic. You're walking in the park, right?
Yeah.
And you look over and somebody's getting raped.
Yeah.
And you're like, I ain't gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep walking. This is a thing in psychology where when you see for example, today I was at this cafe.
You could have stopped a rape today.
I was at a cafe and almost worse. I was at this fucking cafe and this lady's making someone's latte and to go, and she has this rag that she's been cleaning tops with, and I'm just watching her waiting because she's making it before she comes to the register. The fucking rag falls into the guy's latte. She sees it fall into the latte. I see it fall into the latte, but she doesn't know I've seen it fall into the latte.
Yeah.
And I'm watching because she's in a hurry because there's a big line. I'm like, I wonder what she's gonna do here. She fucking puts the top on and starts carrying it toward,
with the rag in it?
After the rag is dropped in. A cleaning rag is dropped into this guy's...
It's in it?
It's out. She took it out.
Took it out, okay.
But a nasty rag fell in this fucking latte. And she was just going to give it to the guy. And as she's walking away with the latte, I'm thinking to myself, well, now I have to say something.
Because you know she's not going to.
Because she's not going to. So I said to her, don't you feel weird giving that guy a latte that you just dropped the rag in?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it dropped in? I didn't see it. I thought it hit the edge. She made something up. But she made the guy a new latte.
I probably would have just taken it. I probably would have not taken it, but just not said a word to her.
Well, that's the difference is it wouldn't have upset you as much.
I would have indignantly later gone, this lady just dropped a rag.
I would have.
Do a thing.
Yeah, I already feel like not going back there. But it's like the point is, Ari, you're connecting to this thing on such a deep fucking level. You have a following of like rabid fans. You could take this to beyond just instinctually rejecting them. You could take this a few notches higher if you could connect with some other people and organize. This is the whole idea. Like, activism's great from the individual's perspective, but shit will change when it organizes. I'd jump on board, man. If you could like find everyone out there listening to this, Ari Shaffir just decided that he's going to start an organized some kind of activist organization to help change the policies of the TSA so that there's some shift. Somebody fucking help Ari do this.
I wonder what we could do.
Help. Anonymous, I know some of you listen to this podcast. Connect with Ari Shaffir. Help him. And those of you who are just libertarians, those of you who are aware of whatever organizations out there, InfoWars people, whoever it is, get in touch with Ari. I think he's obviously got the passion, because you could change. Look at the fucking NAACP and those organizations, man. When they fucking swarm on a thing, it changes. It's just a matter of
Washington State's trying to kick all TSA out.
There you go.
Saying we don't want this.
So it's not hopeless.
It's not hopeless, but when I think about human nature, and I realize if I was that lady behind the counter and a rag dropped in, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably put the lid on. If I was those people working for the TSA, I'd probably end up harassing people too. Well, because humans are fallible.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't put people with no repercussions in a position of authority.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what you say in front of Congress. I mean, dude, people with a lot less of a voice than you have done much, much more. It's just the whole point though is don't be results oriented anyway. It's just like probably for you, it would feel fucking good if you saw that you were having a more profound impact on the TSA. I mean, that would be a crazy powerful feeling to realize that you were part of something that was actually going to change what is for a lot of people the most obnoxious. They've transformed travel into a goddamn molestation situation, man. It's annoying. I'm not. I haven't been. You're making me feel passionate.
And once you get used to this, they'll go one step further, then one step further, then one step further, because otherwise it's a revolt.
You got to organize. Somebody help you people out there in college who are studying this stuff. We're just comedians. I went to a liberal arts college. I remember about some of the stuff people would do, but I don't remember how to organize it.
Man, in college it was so much easier.
People have refined activism.
I wonder if there's a way for enough people to resist them. That's what I say. I say I have a medical condition, and they say, what is it? I'm like, are you legally allowed to ask me that? And if they're like, supervisor, I'm like, yeah, call him over then. Let's do it this way.
What you would do is you would build a website. You'd find a website that's already built.
Yeah.
You show people their rights. You simplify it. You make it so that there's something that people can do that's very easy, that slows down the process. I know that.
Here's the problem with their power. It's like that breast milk video. She had to get them to release the video of them harassing her.
Yeah.
And the supervisor came over and she said, "Listen, let me show you on the TSA rules that I don't have to put this through the X-ray." And he was like, "Sorry, it's either pour it out in the garbage or put it through the X-ray."
Yeah, I saw that.
And they had to hand over the footage, and he just didn't hand over 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
He goes, "I'll put the beginning and the end, but no, you're not getting this 30 minutes." And how is that allowed?
Right.
How is that something allowed? Because they have the power.
But
they're not going to give you the fucking damning information on themselves.
If there was an organization out there dedicated to people reporting incidents that had a huge fund of money from people donating and hardcore powerful attorneys like the NAACP.
Yeah, they should get sued left and right.
The ACLU that could crack down whenever this shit happened, so that in the same way the TSA has created this crucible effect where they tighten the screws on everyone, this organization tightens the screws on them, so that no matter what happens, they know that if they're fucked up enough and they go against people's constitutional rights, there is a chance they're going to get reported to this organization and they're going to get fucking swarmed by lawsuits, by all the means that people have to protect themselves. Because the United States, though it is broken in a lot of ways, it also it fixes itself. You watch it happen sometimes, man. Shit goes to the Supreme Court.
At its best, democracy can work.
It can work, but it won't work if people don't organize.
Yeah.
The moment people start organizing,
we're a giant union. That's what we are.
One killer bee, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
A swarm of killer bees, you are dead.
That's a problem.
When humans swarm, you're fucked. And right now, all that's happening, it seems like with the TSA, is like we get these individual little bees, but there's not
there's not an organization.
If there was a known website where a person could go, upload their footage of whatever fucked up thing happened at the TSA, get contacted by the organization to tell them if they have, if they have a legal case, if there was a legal defense fund.
Yeah, you know what they have now?
What?
Write a complaint letter to the TSA.
No.
And so they'll be the ones.
This is your job, Ari.
Do you remember when? Yeah, maybe organization's hard for me.
Listen, you are the mouthpiece for the fucking thing. Here's the difference. The other thing is, like, you have a very.
Do you remember what we do when we were at the talent coordinator and I was your assistant and we get complaint letters for Paul Mooney?
Laugh.
We would laugh, send him the letter.
Yeah, you call him immediately.
Yeah,
to read it
listen
to
to this.
He loved it. He's like, "Oh, please read that. Read that." He loved it.
I bet it was written on white paper.
You laugh, but dude, it's like guaranteed. There's people listening to this who would help you, and all you would have to do is with things like this, all you have to do is get the momentum going, and then let other people lead the charge.
It catches on.
Yeah, it catches on, and then
you're right, because I think there's this attitude. One, where every time I've seen someone who's talked about it beforehand, before I sort of saw it for clearly what it was, I thought, oh, those are kooks. Those are going against, like, what do you mean? With disband the TSA? What are you're kooky. Or you view it as, no, it's the government. They're looking out for us.
Yeah, but I think that there's a middle line. I don't think there's a necessity to disband the TSA. I think there's a necessity to reorganize the TSA so that better reflects the purpose of the thing. What's the purpose of the thing? The purpose of the thing is to keep
airport security.
So it's like, I really think that
privatize. Stop letting taxpayers pay for it. Stop having repercussions. Start having repercussions.
You need detectors. You don't want someone to smuggle a fucking bomb through.
Yeah, but that's one dog does that.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, man. You need dogs. And then I think
a better explanation system. Corporations will be better at this.
Yeah.
Than a bureaucratic government.
Yeah, I guess we don't. That's the other cool thing about organizing something like this is you look at what's happening. You think of the original purpose of
the old head of the TSA said it's too broken to like change. All they do is add band-aids.
Yeah.
But they don't ever let's reorganize this thing.
You just have to make it. I think the answer is a combination of like legislative or rather like legal pressure, or where they realize that like you have to make it so that it's no longer profitable for them because they're getting lawsuits. They're getting so many lawsuits because there's a fund paying for attorneys that they're getting swamped with lawsuits so that it's no longer profitable.
You'd have to do a lot because they're not a real corporation, the United States. So the all the lawsuits do is devalue everyone's dollars.
Well, you know what? No, man.
So nobody's really paying for it.
I think I still think people don't like paying fucking legal bills, man. And also personally,
it's embarrassing.
Personally suing agents, like, so that
what this guy did was illegal.
Yeah, so now they'll agents themselves in the same way police officers can get sued.
Yeah,
they have liability themselves when they do shit. So through that, it makes it so that
at least a corrupt cop is doing something good. He's actually catching some criminals.
Right.
They haven't done anything.
Right.
We pay $8 billion a year to keep this organization going that is just bleeding money.
Yeah, man, dude. Here's the other thing, man. You're very articulate about it, because the problem is a lot of people who get into this kind of like realm, they are not good speakers.
Yeah.
So they immediately, like, through their aggro, angry paranoia and their freakishness and their defensiveness, they immediately destroy what they're setting out to do because they're such freaks. Like when fucking Alex Jones, who I like. I think he's hilarious, and I met him.
But he yells too hard sometimes.
He yells too hard sometimes, man, and it ends up like scaring off like level-headed people.
He seems like a kook.
And there's a place for an Alex Jones because it like gets publicity, and he's out there doing his own thing.
He can also get information out to the people who are calmer.
Yeah, it is a controversial opinion, man. But hanging out with Alex Jones in Austin was so fucking fun. He is so fun to hang out with. He's such a cool guy. I love to have him on this podcast too. But in the same way, there's that. You could do the same thing in a more calm way. Dude, why don't you fucking do it, Ari?
Yeah.
Somebody help Ari Shaffir. Contact Ari.
Help.
Ari needs help. He's gonna organize. It's gonna get him on the no-fly list. It'll be hilarious. Also, but there's a lot of comics.
They fucked with other journalists too who've pointed shit out.
Dude, I'll tell you this. I would be part of
no-fly list should only be for people that they seriously suspect of being involved in terrorism.
I would be part of a fundraiser to like raise money for whatever your organization was.
No-fly list. How could they do that to a regular person who's not trying to do anything terroristic? How can they do that?
Well, this other thing that
they'll let that threat go over. You know what they do in some, because one of my favorite websites is spr.org. I'm sure I've showed it to you. StopPrisonRape.org.
StopPrisonRape.org.
But one of the things that the wardens do is they will threaten the inmates with sending them to a known prison that has a rape culture. So they say, hey, you keep fucking up, we'll send you to that place across town, and you're going to get raped there. So they use this fear to keep people in line.
There's as far as the no-fly list goes, there's two things that are horrifying. The first thing is like all over the news, but the first thing is the kill list, where we can kill American citizens with drones in other countries. So there's that, which is
in
like
our own country too.
Which is so.
Although I don't think there should be a difference.
They should. Point is, there's a kill list where the executive can kill Americans without trial. Yeah. So that's the first really crazy fucked up thing. The second thing is that what they do is they allow people to fly out of the United States to another country, and when they're in the other country,
then they kill them.
They put them on the no-fly list.
Oh, so they can't ever get back.
So they can't come back. So now they're banished. So and if you go into another country and then
what are you going to do when you're in another country? You're just some regular dude.
How
are you going to fight the U.S. government?
You get blown up by a drone.
Oh.
Now it's a whole other thing. They've gotten you out of the country so they can blow you up with a fucking drone. That's the other side. First banish, then assassinate. That's the 1-2 fucking punch. Banish and assassinate. No trial, nothing, no ability to argue about this, nothing you can do, man. And so yeah, it's quite terrifying, and it's something that
people tell me like, well, there's other things to worry about. You should worry about other things that are more important. I've never really appreciated that argument where it's like, don't help that kid cross the street when there's hunger in Africa.
Right.
You're like, I can do something not like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You don't negate what you're doing just because there's bigger things to do.
Activism, you know about Abby Hoffman, Ari?
I don't come in contact with the other things too.
You
Who's
know
Abby Hoffman?
Abby Hoffman was this.
He on the lam for forever?
No, he was this amazing fucking activist, man. And there's a great book about him that I read a long time ago. I wish I could remember all of it, but activists have a kind of quixotic attitude where they're so in love with the act of rebelling because it's right that the result doesn't matter. So one thing he organized is a group of people surrounding the Pentagon to try to levitate the Pentagon.
So who cares if it works or not?
Yeah, it's not that. The point is it creates a spectacle, which brings, at the time, it brings attention to the cause, which I think at the time was against the war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
The other thing that he did, which was brilliant, is he shut down the New York Stock Exchange by having people, because at the time it wasn't secure as it is now, by having people go and you could just stand and observe the stock exchange happening.
Yeah.
So he had a group of activists go in there with garbage bags filled with dollar bills, and they all dumped the dollar bills on top of the traders, and the traders stopped trading to try to get the money falling out of the sky.
It's the best return on your money.
Shut down the fucking stock exchange.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious. And so he was this very creative activist who I believe he committed suicide. You know, wink, wink, suicide. Yeah. But like, they'll kill you.
You know, you know that's possible.
Oh,
honestly, the shoe bomber, I don't think I believe that happened.
Right.
It sounds crazy because it's like, oh yeah, it definitely did. But it's like, wait a minute. So he got a bomb through, and it just didn't quite go off.
I don't know.
But we were lucky. We just got lucky that it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe.
But now we can just take away more rights because this guy almost. I don't know.
Maybe the fucking TSA is just run by a guy with like a really intense foot fetish.
Well, any bureaucracy becomes like a corporation, and corporations become just like living units, and they just want to protect themselves. So they don't want to lose an arm. So if they lose 10,000 people, let's say we don't need these people, they're like, no, the union's like, no, protect our jobs. So they only want to get more jobs. It only wants to grow bigger, this organism.
Right. No, it's cancer.
And it'll fight against it.
It's
and it'll
cancer.
kill someone like Abby Hoffman.
It's cancer. It's the organism fighting against itself. I guarantee you, man, if my fucking ball that was cancerous could talk, I guarantee that it's like, we need this. This is important. I've got to do this. I guarantee
I have sperm in here. I help take care of urine.
Yeah.
Please.
We need to grow bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, multiplies it. But again, man, the beauty of, now this gets back to where the existential conversation we're having, because this is why it's called the myth of Sisyphus, because Sisyphus is a being damned by God to do a hopeless act, damned by the gods to do a hopeless act, which is to push a boulder up to the top of a hill and have it roll back down and then push it back up again. No resolution. Nothing's going to come of that. There's no way to ever stop it. This was supposed to be a curse.
Yeah.
But Camus says, no, here's where man rises above the gods, because Sisyphus has found happiness
in pushing the boulder.
He's found true happiness.
So every time it rolls down, he's like, cool, get to roll it up again.
Yes. And this way, the gods attempt to punish this son of a bitch have failed, because he's got something that the gods don't have.
Yeah.
The human will, the ability to transcend anything through adjusting our perceptual mechanisms. I might be butchering the truth behind it.
Well, I'll compare it to something in real life. You know what you ever see dogs that catch frisbees and jump off somebody's chest and jump up and catch a frisbee?
Yes.
They usually have scarves on, those dogs.
Yes.
The treat for the dog for winning, for doing it, is catching the frisbee.
Yeah.
They turn the frisbee into the treat. So then it's not about do this and I'll give you something. It's like, do this and you get to do that.
Yeah. So there you go. That's it. So what I'm saying here is the amazing thing about being in the United States, as crazy and corrupt and prison populated this fucking place is that there is still a system where if enough people stand up, you can make changes, man. You can really do it. It's beautiful. It's kind of unnerving to think about, but like you could really do it.
Do you think so?
Yes. And I think that
Occupy Wall Street was pretty big.
Yeah.
Did it have any effects?
Sure it did. It got a lot of information out there and it's not over yet.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. It started people.
Yeah. And again, we're not thinking about the effects. We're thinking about, do you want to be
the guy who just takes
the guy who walked by the rape?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be the guy who tried to stop it?
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to be the guy who fucking tried to stop it.
That's how I was. When I resisted Occupy Wall Street for a while, it was always like, yeah, what are they doing, hippies, whatever. But then I read somewhere, it's like, which side of history do you want to be on?
Yeah.
One who tried to do something and either won or failed, or the guy who said, nah, they're not going to do anything and just stop them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing as the rape.
Yeah.
I just don't want to take it. And people are like, what about those TSA workers? They haven't done anything wrong. They're employees of an occupying force.
Yeah.
Of course they've done something wrong.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's I think that the underlying mode in these kind of organizations is you empathize with people. I understand.
Yeah, because they're humans.
I understand how they get into that.
Absolutely.
Because we don't want them. Because the moment you demonize the workers themselves, you don't have a chance to like do the ultimate thing, which is when the soldiers start putting down their guns and they're like, "I'm not going to do this anymore."
Yeah.
So because you want to.
That's what I like to. I like making their lives a little harder, and maybe one day one of those guys who I say what you're doing is a form of evil. Maybe one of those guys will say, "I don't want to work here anymore."
Yeah.
And then they won't work there anymore.
You just need, it's like, it's better to have a way for everyone to vocalize that to people. Cause one fucking crazy bearded stone comic who's giving you a hard time is a lot different from if per day 700 people come through and just say one phrase.
Yeah.
In other words, like if you organize it so as you're going through, you say, I just want you to know I think what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. And you hear that from 700 people.
I think what you're doing is illegal and you're morally bankrupt. Now they're not going to understand that.
No, you make it simple. I think what you're doing is wrong. You go through and you say, I think...
To every single person you come in contact with.
I think what you're doing is wrong.
The first person that just checks your ID and passport or whatever, or ID and ticket.
Yeah.
Hey, I think what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah. And if enough people started just doing that, coming through, do you know like the effect that's going to have on workers where like every day 700 people tell you, I think what you're doing is wrong? That's one little piece. You combine that.
You should quit.
You combine that with like 30 other things that people could do, or you come up with that, then suddenly you create like a ground level grassroots movement. And then on top of that, you add to it legislation, and you have someone who knows how to do this shit, who organizes it, and you just do it. And then maybe you make a little bit of change. You're
saying it's not even based on the results. It's just like do it for your own sake.
Well,
doing it.
Yeah,
you
do it because you're fucking supposed to do it. When you do a thing, if you do it for the result of the thing, it's like, think about those times.
Well, the 7 spiritual laws, the part I remember from that, which I don't know how you feel about that. My guess is you're for it.
I'm not sure. What are those? 7
Spiritual Laws of Success by, who wrote that book? Deepak Chopra.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a good book. I remember that. I read it a long time ago.
I think either you or Bobby gave it to me originally. But it said that karma, the idea of karma, like it'll come back for you. Because that's not karma. Karma is just doing it for the sake of doing it. And then it will come back to you, but don't do it it will come back to you.
It's like when you're having sex with a girl and all you're thinking about is making her come.
Yeah.
It's like, that's weird. You're a result-oriented sex, or like when you go on stage, you know that those times when you're like, I just want to crush, I'm going to kill. I want to kill. And then you're up there, you're just this full of shit thing that's trying to like, that's out of the moment. Yeah. It's all the same fucking thing, man. It's like when you don't do activism because of a result. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, man. I mean, that guy who stood in front of the tank.
He wasn't looking to stop that tank.
No.
He was like, no, I'm not going to take this anymore.
Yeah.
But man, those tanks just run over you.
Yeah.
But then as a human, as in an existentialist world, when you're like, if it's just about living my life and enjoying it until it's gone, that stepping in front of a tank doesn't help you there.
No, see, but that's the thing. That's again like an existentialist world is not a result-oriented world. It's a world where you're basing your decisions on real facts, on truth. I don't think it's like it's not Satanism. You're not like, I just want to like gratify my senses. It's just knowing what you really are and then addressing it from there. It's like the difference between, it's like standing in front of the tank and being like, yeah, I believe in this enough that I will sacrifice and extinguish my entire existence for it with no belief that something's going to happen to me after this tank runs over me.
Yeah.
That's so much more heroic than a person who's like, if I do this, I'll live in heaven forever.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger sacrifice someone's making for a cause.
It reminds me, I took the blame for my next door neighbor once because we were kicking a soccer ball around and it broke a wind chime of my mom's. So I took the rap for it. But I needed her to know that I was taking the rap for it.
Yeah, right.
Because it was like, I need a reward
You want
for
the
this.
reward.
Because in the movies, it always gets a reward. So
Yeah.
I can't just take the rap. But really, if you take the rap, it means you're going to get fucked.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not get this awesome reward at the end.
You might not get the fucking reward, man, but as you know, you do get you do get the fight. That's
Yeah.
the whole point. The point of the battle is the reward of the battle is the battle itself. The reward
Yeah.
of the frisbee is the frisbee itself. The
Yeah.
reward is that fucking already. Just
People have said to me too, it's like isn't that just inviting negativity into your life? It's like you get so riled up, and it's like, one, for the rest of the airplane, I fly a lot, and the rest of the airplane ride, if I'm late, I'm delayed, I'm zen as shit about it.
Yeah.
When the line's long, I might miss my flight, I might be able to check my bag in. I tell myself, like, look, worrying about it ain't gonna speed up the line. So you're either gonna go to the front and ask, or you're gonna sit there and be quiet and think about fun stuff.
wow.
And then when I fuck with the TSA agents, it's gone as soon as I'm done with it. I don't
Yeah.
stay mad.
No, you
just
did.
the-
Well, you need the anger.
Yeah, you let it, you access it for a little bit, and then you just, as soon as it's gone, you're like, maybe more candy now.
I gotta play some Les Miserables after this podcast. Ari,
Yeah.
you're fucking awesome, man. You always make me feel so happy whenever we have these
We always
conversations.
have good talks. I'm glad you're not too locked into a relationship, so we can actually be friends for once.
That beef you have to pick with me is for a different podcast altogether. Where can people find you?
Well, can I just say this? That my special is out now. That's what I want to do the whole fucking time. I
Jesus
always
Christ.
forget.
I'll say this at the beginning too. I'll say it
Okay.
at the beginning so that in case people didn't get, or people were like, fuck this, I love the TSA. I'll say at the beginning, your special's out. You recorded
It's called Passive Aggressive. I did it in Brooklyn, New York. These people came to me. I was ready to do. I tried to write an hour of material in a year, and I was getting ready to do another CD. And they said, "Hey, we want to do a special with you." And I was like, "Website, please. This ain't gonna be shit."
Yeah.
But it was literally 4 blocks away from where I lived, the meeting, and it was 75 degrees. So I was like, "You have to be an asshole to skip this meeting."
Right.
And then I got there, and they dropped Maria Bamford's name,
Yeah, she's great.
and they did one with her, and I was like, "Really?" And they told me who the directors that they knew were. They did Bill Burr stuff and Louis C.K. stuff. I was like, "Really?" And so we just do it on our own, and then there's no standards, and you own it.
You just download it.
You just download it. $5.
$5 is nothing.
$5 for a year of misery for myself, of hard work.
Yeah, $5 is nothing, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Where do they get it?
You can either go to my website, arithegreat.com, or you can go straight from chill.com. Chill.com, they're just trying to do this for artists. They're doing it for musicians also. They're trying to say, like, you guys can do this and don't give a fuck what the FCC says or what some...
And you're getting you get
Keep it as long as you want in there. You want to have too much stuff about this subject? By all means.
Now, for those of you who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
the old model of this, a comic doing a stand-up special on a network, for example, is what happens on a network is they give you a certain amount of money.
They give you some cash,
And when you hear
and they
about the
pay for
amount
the
that they
shoot.
pay for you, it seems like a lot. So they're like, we're going to give you $15,000 to do this, record a live taping.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is the comic who does these things, they sign over completely the rights to their act. Once the act goes on TV and enough people see it, you can't do it on the road anymore.
Because if your fans come to see you, they've already seen it, that's death.
So what ends up happening is you get paid a very small amount for the amount of work that it's taken for you to develop that material. Now, what I like about what you're doing, it's a Louis C.K. model, is that the artist actually retains the right to the material and gets a fucking percentage of the goddamn thing.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. It's like if whatever network puts it on, I hate to make it about any network, because any network that's putting comedy on is doing some of the right thing. They're
Yes,
helping
for
comedy.
sure.
But whatever network puts it on could run it once and then never again.
Yeah.
And now all this work you did will never get seen.
Yeah, it's
You
just
can't even put it on YouTube.
no, and that's it, and it's gone. You have no control over your own work, and so this like new model is really beautiful. And when people go and pay $5 to download, when you guys download Ari's special, which I really hope you do, you're not just like getting funny fucking comedy, but you're also helping a transition, a shift from an old model to a new model, and you're showing that this new model works, and that's fucking exciting because you're part of like in history this brand new way that people are consuming media. So
if enough money, and it costs a lot to shoot a special, like to do it well. You know, it's not just a video camera in the back.
Yeah,
but it costs nearly $100,000.
Yeah, sometimes
more. Some people shoot for $200,000, and
yeah.
It's like if that money comes back to me, if I can pay for that shoot, if they don't lose money, then I can make a new hour of material for the same fans next year.
Yeah,
and if that comes back to me again, then cool. Then here's your reward. It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Yep.
You get more comedy. I get it paid for. You get more comedy.
And the thing is, you guys, is like you really should download this special because Ari's going to be on the no-fly list or dead in 2 months.
The only way you can see me is there.
Yeah, you're fucked. You're going to jail, Ari. Where are you on Twitter?
At Ari Shaffir, 2 Fs.
And you got a website?
AriTheGreat.com.
And also a fucking hilarious goddamn podcast, Skeptic Tank.
Oh, yeah. That you've been on.
I've been on it. And then you got that new crappy...
sports podcast?
I don't think it's crappy. I just don't like sports. I'm sure it's funny.
I was hoping you were going to that stuff when we were talking about it too. I was like, Duncan, what do you think about sports? It's punch drunk, but it's the way you said, you and Bobby have the same thing. Oh, the match between the two, the goal was scored on the basket was amazing.
I just can't. I love StarCraft, but I understand why people like sports. So, guys, I'll have all these links on the site. Thanks for being on the podcast, Ari.
Thanks for having me, Duncan.
Yeah,
Trussell.
love you. Bye. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like this podcast, why not give us a rating at iTunes? Love you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Oh, and this Monday coming up at the Eagle Rock Performing Arts Center, this Monday coming up, that is February 18th. I'm going to go see Ohm, and you guys should come too. Ohm, it's this incredible drone rock band that is mind-melting. So that's a fun thing to do. My friend Emil Amos is in that band too. And now enjoy Artificial Smiles by Daniel Johnston from his album White Magic.